Every single one of you has a fire inside. A spark of potential so vast it could light up the world. But here's the painful truth. Most of you are letting it die. You're suffocating it with excuses, drowning it in distractions, burying it under fear and laziness. And the worst part, you know it. You feel it. Every day. Every moment you choose comfort over growth, procrastination over action, fear over courage. That knowing sense that you were meant for more, that you're capable of more, but you're not doing a damn thing about it. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you pushed yourself to the limit? Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When was the last time you faced a challenge that terrified you? And you did it anyway. Most people avoid discomfort like it's the plague. They run from struggle, hide from effort, and then wonder why their lives feel empty, why they feel stuck, why they wake up every morning with a hollow ache in their chest. This isn't just about success. This isn't just about money, fame, or achievement. This is about survival. Because when you waste your potential, you're not just failing to reach your goals. You're killing yourself slowly. Every day you don't grow. Every day you don't strive. Every day you settle for less than you're capable of. A part of you dies. The part that dreams. The part that fights. The part that believes in something greater. Look around you. The world is full of people who gave up. People who had big dreams once but let them fade. People who told themselves, I'll start tomorrow, until tomorrow became never. And now, they're just going through the motions. Alive but not living. Breathing but not thriving. Is that what you want? To look back on your life and realize you never truly lived? Potential is not a gift. It's a responsibility. You were given this mind, this body, this spirit for a reason. To use it, to test it, to push it beyond what you think is possible. And yet, what do most people do? They waste it. They let fear dictate their choices. They let comfort become their prison. They let the opinions of others drown out their own voice. Fear is the biggest killer of potential. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. But here's the truth: failure is not the enemy. Regret is. The pain of failure fades. The pain of never trying, that stays with you forever. Every time you back down from a challenge, every time you talk yourself out of taking a risk, you're not protecting yourself. You're betraying yourself. You're telling yourself, I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. And the more you say it, the more you believe it. Discipline is the antidote. Not motivation, discipline. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind. Discipline is what keeps you moving when every part of you wants to quit. Discipline is what drags you out of bed when you're tired. What makes you train when you're sore. What forces you to focus when your mind wants to wander. Discipline is the bridge between potential and greatness. And if you don't build it, you'll never cross. Most people want the reward without the work. The glory without the grind. They want to be great, but aren't willing to do what greatness demands. Greatness isn't a moment. It's a lifestyle. It's the small choices you make every single day. The choice to train when no one's watching. The choice to study when others are sleeping. The choice to stand when others are sitting. Greatness isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being better than you were yesterday. But here's the hardest truth of all: you don't lack potential. You lack urgency. You think you have time. You think tomorrow is guaranteed. It's not. Every second you waste is a second you'll never get back. Every opportunity you ignore is an opportunity that may never come again. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't care if you're scared. It moves forward with or without you. The question is, will you move with it? Or will you stand still and watch your life pass you by? You want change? Then change. You want more? Then earn it. You want to be great? Then act like it. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for someone to save you. No one is coming. The only person who can unlock your potential is you. The world doesn't need more half-lived lives. It doesn't need more people who play small, who hide, who settle. It needs warriors, fighters, people who refuse to let their fire die, people who wake up every day and choose struggle over comfort, growth over stagnation, courage over fear. So ask yourself, what are you willing to fight for? What are you willing to suffer for? Because nothing worth having comes easy. Nothing worth achieving comes without sacrifice. And if you're not willing to bleed for your dreams, then you don't deserve them. Every single one of us is born with an incredible gift, potential. It's that raw, untapped energy inside you, the voice that whispers you could be more, do more, achieve more. But here's the brutal reality: most people never come close to unlocking it. Instead, they let it rot. They bury it under layers of excuses, drown it in distractions, and suffocate it with fear. And the worst part? They know it. Deep down, there's a constant, nagging sense that they're capable of greatness, but they're not even trying. That's not just failure. That's a slow suicide of the soul. Because when you ignore your potential, when you refuse to challenge yourself, when you settle for less than you know you could be, you're not just wasting time. You're killing the best version of yourself before it ever gets a chance to live. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow"? How many dreams have you put on hold because you were afraid, because it wasn't the right time, because you didn't feel ready? And what has that gotten you? A life of half measures, of regrets, of watching others live the life you wish you had. The truth is, potential isn't some magical gift that only a few are born with. It's a responsibility. You have it. Everyone does. But what separates those who rise from those who stagnate is one simple thing: the willingness to act, to push through discomfort, to face fear head on. Most people never do that. They cling to comfort like it's a life raft, not realizing it's actually an anchor dragging them down. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It's the silent killer of dreams. Because growth doesn't happen in the safe zone. It doesn't happen when you're coasting, when you're avoiding risks, when you're choosing the easy path. Growth happens in the struggle, in the moments when you're exhausted but keep going, when you're terrified but take the leap anyway, when you fail but refuse to stay down. Most people run from that kind of discomfort. They'd rather stay small than face the pain of becoming more. And that's why most people live lives of quiet desperation, always wondering, what if, but never having the courage to find out. The irony is that the very things we fear, failure, judgment, uncertainty, are the things that shape us. Failure isn't the end. It's the tuition you pay for success. Judgment isn't a prison. It's a test of your conviction. Uncertainty isn't a threat. It's the space where greatness is born. But most people never see it that way. They let fear dictate their choices. They let the opinions of others drown out their own voice. They let the fear of looking stupid stop them from ever being extraordinary. And so they stay stuck, forever waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Here's the truth. There is no perfect moment. There's only now. And if you keep waiting, you'll wake up one day and realize you've spent your entire life preparing to live, but never actually living. That's the real tragedy. Not failing, not falling short, but never even trying, because the pain of regret is infinitely worse than the pain of effort. The pain of looking back and knowing you could have been more, could have done more, but didn't. That's a wound that never fully heals. Discipline is what bridges the gap between potential and reality. Not motivation, not inspiration. Motivation is fickle. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is what keeps you moving when every part of you wants to quit. It's what drags you out of bed when you're exhausted. What makes you push through one more rep when your muscles are screaming. What forces you to sit down and work when your mind is begging for distraction. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. But it's the only thing that works, because success isn't about grand gestures. It's about daily habits. It's not about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do every single day. Most people don't want to hear that. They want shortcuts. They want overnight success. They want to believe that greatness can be achieved without struggle. But that's a lie. Greatness is earned through sweat, through sacrifice, through relentless consistency. There are no exceptions. No one who ever achieved anything meaningful did it without discipline. And if you're not willing to develop it, you might as well kiss your potential goodbye. Because without discipline, potential is just wasted energy, a spark that never becomes a flame. Time is the one resource you can never get back. And yet, most people treat it like it's infinite. They procrastinate, they delay. They tell themselves, "I'll start when things calm down," or "I'll get serious next year." But time doesn't wait. It doesn't care about your excuses. It keeps moving, whether you're ready or not. And every second you waste is a second you'll never reclaim. The clock is always ticking. The question is, what are you doing with the time you have? Are you building something? Are you growing? Are you pushing yourself closer to your goals? Or are you just passing the days, waiting for something to happen? Life doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't adjust itself to your timeline. If you want something, you have to go out and take it. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success on a silver platter. You have to fight for it. You have to earn it. And that starts with a sense of urgency. The understanding that today is the only day you can control. That right now is the only moment you can act. The future is just a concept. The past is already gone. All you have is this moment, and what you do with it determines everything. So what's it going to be? Will you keep wasting your potential, letting fear and comfort dictate your life? Or will you finally step up? Will you finally demand more from yourself? Will you finally start fighting for the life you know you're capable of living? The choice is yours. But remember, potential unused is potential wasted. And a life half lived is no life at all. You wake up each morning with the same quiet whisper in the back of your mind. That voice telling you there's more, so much more you could be doing with your life. But then the day begins and the distractions creep in. The comfortable routines take over. The easy choices present themselves. And before you know it, another day has slipped through your fingers with your potential remaining untouched, gathering dust like some forgotten treasure in the attic of your soul. This isn't just procrastination, it's a form of self-betrayal so subtle most people don't even recognize it until it's too late. The tragedy isn't that people don't have dreams, nearly everyone does. The real tragedy is how easily they abandon them at the first sign of resistance, how quickly they trade their grand visions for minor comforts, how willingly they surrender their deepest aspirations for temporary relief from discomfort. This slow surrender happens in barely noticeable increments, one compromised decision after another, until one day they wake up to find they've become a shadow of what they could have been. Their fire hasn't been extinguished in one dramatic moment, but starved to death through thousands of small acts of self-abandonment. Consider how often you've talked yourself out of taking risks because the timing wasn't right. How many brilliant ideas have you let die stillborn because you were waiting for some mythical moment when you'd feel completely ready? That moment never comes for most people. The truth is stark and simply you will never feel ready for the big leaps that matter. The fear never goes away. The uncertainty never disappears. Those who accomplish extraordinary things aren't fearless. They've simply learned to act despite the fear, to move forward even when every fiber of their being screams to turn back. Your comfort zone isn't just limiting your growth, it's actively shrinking. Like a muscle that atrophies from disuse, your capacity for challenge diminishes each time you choose ease over effort. What feels difficult today becomes impossible tomorrow if you consistently avoid it. The reverse is equally true. Every time you push beyond your perceived limits, you expand what's possible for your life. Most people don't realize they're in a silent battle between these two forces, the slow death of comfort or the gradual expansion of courage. And in this battle, neutrality doesn't exist. Every choice moves you in one direction or the other. The modern world has become a minefield of distractions designed to keep you from ever confronting this truth. Endless scrolling, binge, watching, compulsive shopping. These aren't just bad habits. They're an aesthetic for the soul. They keep you just numb enough to avoid feeling the full weight of your unused potential. They provide just enough dopamine to distract you from the gnawing sense that you're meant for more. The most dangerous thing about these distractions isn't that they waste your time. It's that they waste your desire. They trick you into feeling satisfied with mediocrity when your spirit longs for excellence. Potential isn't some static quality you're born with. It's a living, breathing force that must be exercised or it withers. Like a river that grows stagnant when blocked, your innate abilities begin to turn toxic when left untapped. That restless feeling you can't quite shake. That's your potential trying to get your attention. That frustration with your current circumstances. That's your untapped power demanding expression. Most people misinterpret these signals, trying to silence them with more distractions when they should be listening to them as the call to action they truly are. Discipline is often misunderstood as deprivation when it's actually the path to true freedom. Every act of discipline is a vote for your future self. Every time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you're not restricting yourself. You're liberating your potential from the prison of instant gratification. The undisciplined life may feel free in the moment, but it inevitably leads to the worst kind of bondage, being trapped by your own wasted potential. Meanwhile, those who appear to be restricting themselves through disciplined habits are actually buying their future freedom, the freedom that comes from having options, from being capable, from knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you. Time operates by its own ruthless arithmetic. Each day you delay in pursuing your potential, the interest compounds against you. What starts as a slight gap between where you are and where you could be grows into an uncrossable chasm through the silent accumulation of wasted days. The person who begins cultivating their potential at 25 operates with a massive advantage over the one who waits until 35, not because of some inherent superiority, but because of the compound effect of daily effort. And this effect works in both directions. The compound interest of neglect is just as powerful as the compound interest of investment, just far more destructive. The world is full of people who will try to convince you to settle. Some do it out of genuine concern. They want to protect you from disappointment. Others do it because your ambition makes them uncomfortable with their own choices. Either way, their advice, however well-intentioned, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when you internalize it. The moment you start believing your dreams are unrealistic is the moment they become so. History is littered with examples of people who achieved the impossible simply because they refused to accept the limitations others tried to impose on them. The difference between a dream and a delusion isn't the size of the goal, but the strength of the commitment behind it. Fear operates like a sophisticated con artist in your mind, presenting worst-case scenarios as inevitable outcomes while hiding the true cost of inaction. It magnifies the risks of trying while minimizing the far greater risks of not trying at all. The fear of failure feels immediate and visceral, while the consequences of playing small reveal themselves slowly, accumulating over years until one day you realize you've built a life of quiet compromise. By then, the regret is so woven into the fabric of your being that it's hard to distinguish where the regret ends and you begin. The tragedy isn't failing to achieve your dreams, it's failing to pursue them with everything you've got. Your potential isn't just about what you could accomplish in the world, it's about who you could become as a person. Every time you shy away from a challenge, you're not just avoiding an external test, you're missing an opportunity to discover new depths in yourself. The person you're capable of becoming is forged in those moments when you push beyond what you thought possible, when you refuse to quit even when every part of you wants to, when you choose growth over comfort again and again. This is why wasting your potential is so devastating. It's not just about unmet goals, but about the unrealized version of yourself that never got the chance to exist. The standards you accept for yourself become the boundaries of your life. When you tolerate mediocrity, you don't just perform at a mediocre level, you begin to think mediocre thoughts, form mediocre habits, and attract mediocre opportunities. Your self-expectations act as a gravitational force, pulling everything in your life toward their level. Raise your standards, and you don't just change your performance, you change your entire trajectory. Most people dramatically underestimate what they're capable of because they've never demanded excellence from themselves consistently enough to discover their true capacity. Action is the antidote to doubt. Not reckless action, but consistent, purposeful movement toward your goals. Every step forward provides data that recalibrates your self-perception. Every small victory builds evidence against your limiting beliefs. The people who appear supremely confident in their abilities aren't necessarily more talented. They've simply taken enough action to know what they're capable of. Confidence isn't the prerequisite for action, it's the product of it. Waiting until you feel ready is like waiting to enter the water until you know how to swim. You learn by doing, by flailing, by swallowing some water, and eventually finding your rhythm. The version of you that exists right now is temporary. The only question is which direction you're evolving. Every choice, every action, every thought is shaping who you're becoming. The person you'll be in 5 years isn't determined by some distant future decision, but by the small choices you make every single day. Most people drift through these moments unaware of their cumulative power, then wonder how they ended up somewhere they never intended to be. Those who consciously direct this evolutionary process understand that transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens through thousands of micro decisions that gradually sculpt your character and capabilities. Legends aren't born, they're built, day by day, rep by rep, failure by failure. The great artists, entrepreneurs, athletes, and thinkers of history weren't stamped with some special mark at birth. They simply refused to abandon their potential. They endured the lonely hours of practice. They persisted through countless rejections. They got up one more time, then they fell down. The difference between them and everyone else wasn't talent or luck. It was their unwillingness to let their potential go to waste. They understood what most never grasp, that the pain of discipline is infinitely less than the pain of regret. The world needs what only you can bring. Not some perfected future version of you, the you that exists right now, with all your flaws and fears and untapped power. Every day you hold back is a day the world misses out on your unique contribution. Your potential isn't just your own. It's a gift you owe to those whose lives you're meant to touch. The books you won't write, the art you won't create, the businesses you won't build, the people you won't inspire, these aren't just personal losses, but collective ones. Your playing small serves no one. Your full expression could change everything. This isn't about guilt, it's about urgency. Not the frantic, anxious kind, but the steady, purposeful kind that comes from knowing your time is limited and your potential is precious. The kind that gets you out of bed in the morning with intention. That helps you say no to distractions and yes to growth. That transforms potential from some abstract concept into daily action. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another pep talk. What you need is to decide, really decide, that you're done wasting your potential. That from this moment forward, you'll treat it like the sacred trust it is. That you'll honor it with your effort, your courage, your persistence. Because potential unused isn't just wasted, it's a tragedy in slow motion. And you're the only one who can rewrite the ending. The fire inside you doesn't ask for permission to burn. It only asks for courage. For years, you've been given the same warnings. The quiet ache of wasted time, the weight of excuses piling up, the ghost of the person you could have been haunting your reflection. These weren't signs of failure. They were invitations. Invitations to fight, to rise, to refuse the slow death of mediocrity. This is your crossroads. One path is familiar, the well-worn trail of comfort, hesitation, and regret. The other demands everything you have, your discipline, your resilience, your willingness to stare fear in the face and move forward anyway. There is no middle ground. Potential is never static. It's either growing or rotting. So here's the only question that matters now. When your last breath comes, when the sum of your days is tallied, will you be proud of how you used your fire? Or will you be just another cautionary tale, another what if left dangling in the air? The world doesn't need your excuses. It needs your greatness. Stop begging for more time. Stop waiting for a sign. The sign was the ache in your chest every time you settled. The sign was the voice in your head screaming, this isn't enough. Burn the boats. Step into the arena. Let your potential roar to life. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Because the only thing worse than dying is realizing you never truly lived.